Fuck the dolphins.
That's gonna be weird out of context for everybody nearby.
I'm just gonna make that. I'm gonna clip that out and put it at the front of this episode when I upload it. So it's just me saying "fuck the dolphins," and then we'll just go into the session, and nobody will have any context for it for like an hour.
And we're back for session 3 of our not yet titled campaign.
I don't know what we're calling it. I don't.
Harvest campaign, something like that.
I haven't.
I don't know.
Thought of a thread title yet because I can't think of a good funny pun, and Nano won't help me.
I gave you poop heads and Pavis. What's wrong with that?
That's dumb. We're not poop heads. One.
You're all barbarians.
I don't know of any tribes of Prax that use anything's fecal matter as hair product. Might be. There might be somebody, but you know, who knows what those Bolo lizard riders are up to.
Somebody should do the recap. Yeah, it's a tradition. Who wants to do the recap this time?
You're all a bunch of barbarians. You think New Pavis is a city and not just a small village or maybe a town.
It's got a few thousand people. That qualifies as a city, most places. But yes, please, someone do the recap.
Are we taking turns?
I already did it.
Wasn't my idea to start doing recaps.
Recaps are streamed TTRPG tradition.
Last time we went to the nightclub, we got the job. The job was to go to a different temple, then ask them what was up there. We went to that temple, we found the lady. She was formerly in with her lunar family, chatting up all the lunar officers until the lunars got kicked out, and now she's falling on hard times and homeless.
Also, the most important detail, a tile was misplaced from its place in the mosaic.
Yeah, there's a missing tile from her family mosaic. It's very important.
And that is the most important thing. That tile is not in the correct place.
It will unlock a secret room.
And that is so distressing to me personally that it reduced my Earth rune score.
It will unlock a secret room where you can get a bunch of health upgrades, and then we talked to her, and then we attacked her brother or her cousin, and then we apologized for that, and now we're going to meet up again in a couple days and go scope out where we're supposed to bring her.
Yes. I love it when people actually do the catch up in character like Zune was. That's great. Okay, thank you for humoring my streaming tradition. We can start for real now.
So it's the first week of sea season, and it's the afternoon. After you finished questioning Davis and Gili and Busara and Gili and Dulce Jail went on their way. We're right after that scene. And the last thing of note was that Surma locked eyes with a member of the Dolphin Street Gang from Riverside, and then they disappeared when Ferio walked between them.
Yeah.
So,
that wasn't Ferio's fault.
Nano just recapped some of this, but what is your next move?
Well, before we ended last session, Surma had been talking about how we were going to split the party, and Philomena and Talik were going to head to the Noble House and the Ingilies, thank you. And I was just trying to bait somebody to say because I couldn't remember how to pronounce it. I knew the name. I was just like, wow, that's a lot of vowels all at once. Anyway, so yeah, Surma had suggested as a fucking Yamalian who's decided she's in charge, as we do, that we should split the party because that's fun. Because I GM and I know how much GMs love it when you split the party, especially when you do it suboptimally. So
we can all just take care of a couple of small things that we don't need the whole party for.
Yeah,
it's fine.
So Surma suggested that Talik and Philomena, who's good at talking, go talk to the nobles who like to get talked to. And Talik can go obsess over tiles and figure out tile stuff, and Philomena can actually get stuff done. And then while they were doing that, Surma and Cacti and Potov were going to go into bad sides so that Potov could get high while Surma and Cacti actually get jobs done. But
Philomena is no longer present.
Yeah, she's gone.
She's poofed away.
So, how does that change your plan?
And we love you.
Well, where did Philomena go?
Yeah, we need a
Oh,
narrative.
that's very straightforward. Just after you leave the Chalana Arroy Temple, just after you leave Basara and Delsa Jail, rather, on the other side of the thoroughfare from the Chalana Arroy Temple in the public district.
Mm-hmm.
Out from the shanties facing the temple saunters Illusu, Argrath's tricking companion, also known as the Little Shit.
Oh no!
Whom you last saw reclining on a chase lounge in Argrath's throne room, smoking Black Lotus.
That
And
card's
she comes to-
expensive. You can't just smoke that card. The card's expensive. Sorry, go on.
She is a. She
Tearing
is a
up a
surprising.
Grodia, putting it in my pipe and smoking it.
She is a surprisingly small and slender bison woman from her tattoos, but many of her tattoos have been deliberately marred, and she has a lot of disorder and delusion runes worked into her skin in various ways. Her eyes are very bloodshot, her hair is a little out of whack, and she basically just scoops up Philomena and says, Argrath says she's supposed to help me find drugs.
Drugs?
Yeah, that sounds extremely legitimate.
I know one of Illusu's tattoos on her forehead is the man rune, but with 2 big old titties instead.
That rules. I love it. Look, I mean, I'm saying this out of character, but look, you can't just pick up my future duck girlfriend and run off with her to buy drugs. No, in character.
She can, she outranks you here.
God damn it!
You have to salute her, that's the law.
Yeah, you have to salute Illusu. She's like a general.
General of stealing my girlfriend. Okay, salute her. Commander, steal your girl. Go on then. Have fun.
Can't believe we got a whole military division for that.
Philomena is occupied with shaman assistant stuff while you guys are tasked with completing your mission. Presumably what she is doing is helping what you're doing in some unseen and mystical fashion.
Okay.
To be fair to Illusu, buying drugs is a normal shaman assistant duty.
Yeah, it's literally what they're for. Along with fighting disease spirits and other scut work.
Alright, Sarah's gonna pinch her
So-
nose and groan
So-
as her future girlfriend is abducted to buy drugs with. And
So this might actually be an order from Argrath.
Yes, it could very well be.
Do you want to go ask him? Do you think that's worth your valuable time?
You think that's worth his valuable time?
She didn't bother to ask any of the details of this mission. I don't know why we were thinking that you...
I mean, I guess I could try Insight Human to see whether I get an impression.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't have Insight Human, so it's just my
Then
base
it's your raw
modifier.
perception.
my thought on asking any questions to Argrath in particular about anything is the less questions we ask.
Oh, it was so close.
Oh, so close.
If it was about masonry, you would have critted.
If only people were made out of rock, this would be so much
But
easier.
Talak is left scratching their weird, wiry copper sideburns.
Anyway, I was going to say, in regards to asking Argrath in particular any questions, here's my thoughts on that. My Jenner, not Surma's thoughts on that. I'm not in character right now. I will get in character in just a moment. But they are that the fewer questions we ask Argrath, the less he lies to us. That's my thought. My Jenner
While
thoughts.
Illusu's here, you know what? She's got illusion rune, I've got illusion rune. I'm gonna suck up to her by telling her my black elf hookup.
Ooh, yeah. Can you think of a something to roll to get you a better or worse outcome on sucking up? Charm,
Yeah,
maybe?
I mean, my charm is 35, because I'm still glamored. It's not great, but I can augment that up to 55 if I succeed on the augment.
What are you augmenting with?
Does honor apply? There's honor among thieves. No. No.
No. No, there are some tricksters that might work with, like Carr, the prophet you met in the first session.
Yeah.
That might work with him. Not Elusu.
I'll probably just augment it with a skill then, because I don't think any rune or passion is going to help me out here.
Okay.
Intrigue. Can I just sort of hint at her about it?
Yeah, you could just do straight intrigue if you're better at that.
I mean, I could, but let's try to increase some charm by augmenting it.
Yeah,
with intrigue.
sure. Intrigue is a valid augment then for this skill roll. Oh, plus 30. All right. Yes, you supply her with not just the fact of a black.
Potov is sort of
black
like, if you're while you're in the market, you might want to check out this nightclub we were at. Talk to the bartender. He knows what's up. By sort of like hinting at it.
Yeah.
That fucks up. See, that fucks up my character arc. I'm mad about it. I'll talk about it later. I want to put points in spirit. We'll talk about it. I'll bribe you. Anyway. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. Okay. Ilusu's eyes light up when you describe some of the things on offer from the Black Elves at the Blind Lamps Club. You got any of the goods on you? She asks.
If I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Ah, good instincts. Good instincts.
I'm going to be clutching my purse very tightly.
Yeah.
She says.
Well, fair is fair. You gave me a good hint. If you're ever looking to find something that's tough to find in this city, well, there's not many better to come to than me. She gives you a great big grin.
Interesting. I might take you up on that later.
Great. Bye! She waves her one hand over her head as she puts Philomena on her shoulder and starts sauntering off.
I'm just imagining a cartoon Dust Cloud as she's sprinting off.
Mm-hmm. Someone just like watching this interaction kind of with a thoughtful expression on her face. And just grunts and says, Potov.
What? She works for Argrath?
No,
You work for Argrath?
No, Potov, I'm focused. Good for her and also us. I'm focused on the mission, and it has occurred to me, upon seeing this, that you're not bad at talking to people. I was originally going to send Philomena, or suggest again that Philomena go to talk to the Ingres. But she has been absconded to buy drugs. Since you've already bought drugs, you don't need to buy drugs, you can go talk to the nobles. Would you like to go do that with Talek?
The mission is to help Element, Sarma, and you should remember that we are all us.
What? What? No, what?
It's late afternoon. I'm gonna go take a load off, get some dinner, and tomorrow I have a personal errand to attend to, but after that, I may join them.
Yeah, of course, it is getting late. Well, what time is it right now?
Like 3 p.m.
It's 3? Okay. Yeah, it's almost 4:20. Yeah, you go do your thing. Yeah, we'll meet back up here in the morning and then figure out what we are going to do. I am suggesting this plan, but again, as I said before we ended last session and then started this session, I'm open to discussing other things to do. For now...
As I said, I'll be busy in the morning tomorrow. It's a religious matter.
Yeah, okay. We'll figure it out. When do you want to meet up here so we can resume our mission?
Yes, well, Photov will take out a sheet of parchment on which you can see the drawings of several celestial bodies, and he will sort of page through that, and he'll say, "Does Fire Day work for you?"
I guess Fire Day's fine, yeah.
Or I could make it Wind Day if you really want to rush.
You could make it Wind Day right now, like with magic. We could just control time. Surma says dumbly. No, she has too much intelligence for me to make that joke.
Can you not?
Man, I can totally make it Wind Day. I just have to sit around for about 73 hours, and it'll be Wind Day. I can control time too.
Yes, that's a good strategy. It's one I follow as well.
Yeah, we have the same time travel magic. Amazing how that works.
I just posted the days of the week. It's Freeze Day.
Okay.
Freeze Day afternoon. And what Nano is saying is that Potov has something to do on Water Day and wants to meet up on Clay Day.
Okay. And you said it's Freeze Day right now. Okay, he wants to meet up on Clay Day. Okay.
With Talek, yes.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so I guess we have a day in between now and when you want to meet up to do whatever. Great. Yeah. Talek, is that good for you? Do you want to meet back up on Clay Day here in the morning?
Yes, Clay Day sounds good.
Okay. How about you, sis? Is that okay with you?
I mean, I feel like we should do whatever we need today if we're wanting to be as quick as possible, but, we could meet up later.
I do like to get things done before, they are supposed to be done as, my way of being. But we do have, a week before this is done. So I don't mind waiting until Clay Day as long as we are done before Wild Day or on Wild Day. Because,
Also, how will we ensure that the duck finds us again?
What day are we supposed to be borrowing from the
robot, what?
We haven't established a day. We can just go to Davos and Gili and beat them up whenever we want for a boat.
I don't think we should. He offered to get... No, what?
Yeah, but how can we trust his offer unless Surma is there to threaten him more?
I feel like I already posted up just pick him up, remember?
I'm not the only one with the Intimidate skill, am I?
You're the one that grabbed him, Cacti.
Yeah, Cacti's
I am the one that grabbed him. I feel guilty about it.
Are you saying that in character?
I feel like she's been showing it this whole time, but yes.
Okay.
Yes, why not?
Well, that gets Surma's attention, and she says, why? You were just doing it. Go ahead, Potov. Talek, we'll meet back up here on Clay Day. You were just doing what you thought was right.
It was a pleasure meeting you all.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing the mission with you. Her eyes have not turned away from Cacti as she acknowledges what you said, though. She's, completely focused on what? You did what you thought was right, though. You had no idea that Davos was doing not bad things. For all we know, he was spying on us and gonna report that back to whatever. Chaos, probably. It's always chaos.
Be that as it may, it wasn't polite. And it was kind of a bad move in broad daylight. And also, it wasted time.
Well, alright, on Water Day,
Mm-hmm.
It will be the Black Moon, which is the holiest day of the week to Potov, and he's going to visit the local Temple of the Seven Mothers and try to introduce himself, get a feel for the place, who's in charge and all that.
Call Cacti could also stand to... Cacti and Surma could both stand to worship today, since by the religious calendar it is a Yelm holy day, and
we
Yelm
we
is
worshipped this morning. We were
Leo.
at the special ritual. But if we want to,
No, that was yesterday. That
Oh.
was or back in sacred time at any rate.
Okay, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah, like we traveled, I assume, a while before we actually got to Autograph after the whole, Beams of Light.
No,
point.
you were out in Old Favis. It's not a very long trip.
Oh, it does? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're in Yelmalio Hill is just north of the garden in the rubble.
All right.
All right. Well, but I want to sort out this role play. So yeah, Surma's really confused, Cacti, that you feel bad for doing what you thought was the right thing, and just because you were mistaken doesn't mean that it was a bad thing to do. Because if you had not been mistaken, it would have been the right thing to do. You spotting them was a good thing. Us acting on that information was a good thing. It not being a bad, like him not doing a bad thing wasn't a bad thing because he wasn't hurt, just scared a little. It was fine. Why are you so torn up about it? It's not like we killed him.
No, it's not.
We
But
inconvenienced him. Scared him a little.
And we got a boat.
And we got a boat.
I mean, we got the promise to be lent a boat. We didn't really get the boat.
Oh, trust me.
I'm not
All right,
I'm not carrying
if
a
that's
boat
what
with
you're hung
me
up
right
about is maybe we won't get the boat. I assure you, sis, I will get us that boat. But if you're torn up about I did a bad, sis, you did fine. You didn't know. You can't read minds unless you can, and if you can, you need to tell me because that's useful.
I mean, it would be, yes.
I mean, if you can read minds, please don't read mine because I don't want you to know what's on my mind at all. Like a lot of the time.
Non-narratively, that's usually Lancor me magic based on the
Okay.
truth rune.
Okay.
I mean, I do have that.
Fuck. Well, stay out of my head.
Cacti would have to have a very long beard to know that.
She would have to wear a beard of fronds, which is probably what elf Lancor me worshippers do.
Surma looks over at Talak and just says, You gonna be okay, buddy?
Yes?
Okay. As Surma moves over to Cacti and kind of puts her arm around her shoulders and doesn't care if her spines are out. Prick me, I guess. Whatever, do your worst. Gives her a squeeze. And look, you're fine. You were fine.
How much armor do you have on your arms, Surma?
It's significant. It's like a 3
That's
AP?
plenty, yeah.
Yeah, 3 AP, HP 5. It's not bad. It's not the best armor, but it's not bad. Yeah, pull her in. She's taller, I think. How tall is Cacti? I think Cacti is taller than Surma. Surma's 6'2", according to the
Size 16. I forget what that is exactly.
What's Surma's size?
Surma's size is also 16, so we're about the same height.
Okay, yeah.
Unless,
One might be broader than the other.
Yeah, Surma's a little broader, I think, because Cacti's probably...
Same mass.
Yeah. So yeah, she'll pull her sister in like a little side hug and be like, you were technically just following orders, which is a terrible excuse. But...
It is also a frequent Yelmalio excuse.
But it's the best Yomalio excuse. Come on, let's go make Vishy buy us beer because I forgot my money and he's my bitch.
Please, you're drinking Kumi, some fermented antelope milk.
Just like Grandma used to make.
So do we split the party now? Or?
Yeah, I don't know what Talak's gonna do. I do want to basically give every character a bit of time in the spotlight, so I don't want to hog it. But I mean,
I think Talak is still very confused by the distress of what happened with the Earth Rune, so Talak is probably just gonna slowly head home and try to make sense of this very strange day.
Mm-hmm.
2 questions as you break up for 48 hours. 1, Where exactly do you plan to meet up?
We're gonna meet back up here at the temple on Clay Day in the morning, just after
As
dawn.
in the Chalana Roy
Yeah,
Temple.
at the Chalana Roy
Okay.
Temple. We're gonna meet up here on the stairs of Chalana Roy Temple by this pillar that I just drew a dick on. I did not actually draw a dick on it in character. I'm lying. I'm Jenner.
Very disrespectful to Chalana Roy, who is a very chaste and non-sexual goddess.
Well,
Is there a nearby?
At least it's not a fertility rune. That would be really offensive.
Right.
Is there a nearby Yseri's temple? Because meeting on his steps would be more auspicious.
Nice.
Yes, there. Hold on. Let me look at the map of Public District.
If you're going to go on a journey with new friends, best to meet on the Yseri's temple. Chalana Roy means you're going to need to be healed, which is never a good sign. Or that you're going to heal something else, which could be a good sign.
Yes, but only if you're expecting to heal something.
Yeah.
Having to heal something which you weren't expecting is generally a sign that something has gone wrong.
I mean, we could be healing the Angizi family, but I think that's beyond our powers.
I've just posted a partial map of Public District. P30, I believe. No, P19 is the Chalana Arroy Temple,
Okay.
and P15 is the Isari's Temple. So if you wanted to make it really auspicious and meet at the Isari's Temple, it's just up the street.
All right. So if Potov's still here to actually voice that suggestion, then Surma will agree and basically head over to that to pick out where they're gonna meet, point it out.
There have been many dicks and other things drawn
Right.
on the columns
She's
there.
not-
Isari's is a much less prudish god.
She's not like Surma. I can't. She's not. Put off by like vulgaries like that because of her cool cult. That is fine with sex if you're fine with sex.
Who's got the ziggurat, Yelm?
Stop
The
it.
ziggurat is. Hold on.
Quit it.
It's a very specific structure.
You're going to worship today. So
That is the Temple of Pavis, and it includes a shrine to Flintnail.
Yeah. All right. We'll.
It is also a direct entrance into the Rebel. The summit of the ziggurat is a gate into the old city.
So once we've picked out the meeting location, and when we'll be meeting right here by that pillar, a little after sun up on Clay Day, Surma's gonna look to her sister and say, "So this is where we're meeting. Please stay safe. Do not die." And Pavis isn't that dangerous, but you can go to some dangerous places here and have a bad time. Don't do that. Anyway, look over to her sister and say, are you feeling still consumed by guilt over not wanting to be spied on?
I mean, I just don't want to do like a second offense. It's mostly like my concern right now. Like, let's not steal a boat that's already been lent to us.
Okay, yeah, well, we're not going to steal the boat. It's been lent to us. And people make mistakes, Cacti. You can't expect yourself to be perfect, all right? But we'll make as few mistakes as possible, all right, sis?
Okay.
Don't have such unrealistic standards for yourself unless that's what you want for yourself. But is that what's making you happy, or is it not? Who benefits?
I mostly want to just go back to the grove.
Alright, well,
it's
go back.
really fun.
Alright, go back to the grove, but please come have dinner with me and Vishy tonight, okay?
Okay.
Alright, I'll see you around. Tell the trees I said hi or whatever. Who wants to be followed and do their single roleplay first?
Potov's already walking away with Talik, and he's just like, I need more time with her, and I fear we'd be adopted as well.
Getting adopted by Surma is truly the worst fate.
My first question to each of you is, what do you do with the rest of the day, the first day of the year? It's only getting towards 4 now.
Well, Surma is going to go worship. She wasn't going to pressure Cacti into it, because Cacti probably worships differently or whatever. She doesn't know how elf worship works, if it's different whatever. But she'll go do some god stuff. So that's what I'll be doing, and then I'm gonna go hang out with Vishy in character and force you to roleplay my NPC.
So I was just going to go to Argrath's court, and he's just going to tell a servant, yeah, there's a room here for me, and he's going to go wherever the servant takes him. He can hook
Give me a
brother
social
up.
roll for that.
Okay, intrigue, I guess.
All right, you gonna augment it with anything?
No.
All right.
Normal success.
Yeah, you look strange and somewhat important, and are very pretty, which is proof enough for most servants. There's lots of people like that around the palace these days. And you are led to. I mean, you don't have any specific directions, so you are led to. Let's see.
Listen, I spent almost all of my traveling money getting here, and not on drugs, so he can help a brother out.
It's 420 somewhere, says Potov.
No, the lunar equivalent is it's always a full moon somewhere.
Mm-hmm. The moon is
Strictly speaking.
The moon is always full in space, says Potov, blasted out of his mind.
All right, I just reposted the map of downtown, north of Public.
Thank you.
D1 is Argrath's palace. D2 is the barracks where Philomena usually lives, and where, since he's asked and bluffed his way into it, Potov is afforded space. Since he's clearly some sort of magic guy, magic guy can mean a whole bunch of things when you're talking about people hanging around Argrath, so nobody asks too many questions. It was probably the lodging of a how do I put this? The new Pelorian is probably something like Filiarch, but the sergeant of a file in a phalanx from the old garrison. So it's a room. It's got a bed. It's got a pot to piss in.
Nice.
It's not fancy,
Man.
free person accommodations. Argrath doesn't just hand out luxuries, but he hands out the basics in pretty good quantity.
Then I'll just kick back, do some writing for the rest of the afternoon, show up at dinner here, and go to bed.
Do you want to actually make a read-write
Not yet,
roll?
no.
Okay. All right, so Potov is hanging out at the palace. Who's next? What do you do with the rest of your day?
I guess I can go next.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
I'm still deeply shaken by my distressing experience with the Earth Rune. So Talak will probably head home and try to make sense of this very strange and very distressing day.
All right.
That's all.
Yeah, I can't think of any specifics, but if you have suggestions for specifics, what would a Mostali do to
Work.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Just get some work done. Return to my normal purpose and not this strange new quest thing that is so confusing and distressing.
Most Mostali are encouraged to pick up hobbies in their downtime, which are also things like, creating stuff for physical hands-on labor.
You know what Talak should do, Zune? And I mean
What?
this with complete sincerity. Talak should play whatever is the equivalent of Warhammer in this universe and paint minis. That should be Talak's hobby.
That
I had a
actually
character
sound-
that did that in Legend of the Five Rings.
That actually sounds really fun.
Do it.
Yes, there's probably some really weird and arcane dwarven board game.
Okay,
Invented by us,
miniatures.
still.
I've just posted one map and one fragment of a map. The one with H in the top left corner. That is Rich Hill, the fanciest and oldest section of New Pavis. You see the lines that show elevation on Rich Hill, the actual slope of the hill. Well, Rich Hill was once called Dwarf Hill, when it was just the hill where the dwarfs lived under, outside the walls of the great old city of Pavis, the city that was contained within, the walls that now frame the rubble. The picture I've posted under the map of Rich Hill is a map of the only sections of the dwarf tunnels that non-flint nail initiates are ever likely to see. There are two gates on the surface, public gates on Dwarf Street in Rich Hill. One is open, one is closed. And people who have business with the dwarves are allowed in the open door into a chamber, which has sealed gateways into further sections. And there's usually a human representative of the flint nail in that sort of lobby area, and that is who most people who have dwarf business deal with, not actual dwarfs, because they would much prefer to leave that face-to-face stuff to humans. Talak, of course, is allowed past that lobby area with much deference from the humans on staff. Almost every dwarf in the Flintnail cult outranks almost every human just by the nature of things. And one of the gates sighs open on a hiss of steam pistons, and he is allowed into the deeper sanctums. Not fanfare, obviously. He was just doing his job out beyond the surface, beyond the gates, rather.
Yeah.
But one of the Quicksilver dwarves has been waiting for you.
Ah.
And this is Quicksilver dwarf 07B. And 07B takes you aside to perform a quick debriefing before you're allowed to go do some rehabilitative work or personal craft hobby, or they understand. All Mustali understand the strains that come from going up on the surface.
Yes, it is a most distressing matter.
Yes, 07B asks you to recount your experience on the surface. What did the Human King ask of you, and what have your activities been thus far?
Yes, the Human King sent me on a most strange quest alongside 3 humans and an elf. And a duck. No, 2 humans, an elf, and 2 humans, an elf, and a duck.
Oh yes, one of the feathery humans.
Yes.
Understood.
Yes. A very short duck.
Interesting.
And we were tasked with helping a human woman. And for this, we were sent to a troll establishment.
07B, his weird pinched little face scrunches up even more.
Yes.
Trolls, yes. The Human King does have strange and far-ranging associations.
Yes. Luckily, we did not have to stay there very long. There was just a troll who could tell us where to find the human woman we were supposed to help. And the troll gave us a blue tile that had obviously been part of a mosaic in the Riverside district. And then Talak goes on a great long tangent about the tile, describing it in minute detail.
Oh yes, the 07B is scratching along in a bronze-bound book of slate, and taking down the exact dimensions of the tile and your theories on where it might best be put back.
Yes. And then we proceeded to the temple of the human goddess Chalana Arroy, where we met with a human priestess who brought us to the female human we're supposed to be helping.
Chalana Roy, one of the more helpful rune manifestations.
Yes.
A repairing entity.
Yes. And we were to show the tile to the human woman, and it seemed to have great significance to her because she insisted on keeping it, much to my distress.
She kept it?
Yes. And as we were talking to her and learning more about her circumstances, something about family and the lunar occupation. Anyway,
what do you recall the phonetics of the human family name?
Oh, I believe it was Ingili.
Yes.
And
humans who have integrated the river Solafel very effectively, useful logistically.
And as we were talking to her, something most distressing happened because I noticed another human who appeared to be spying on us, and I attempted to use my earth sense to get a closer look at them, and I had this most unpleasant sensation. It is as if my earth sense reached out not to see this human who was spying on us, but instead reached deeper into the earth itself, and I could see with absolute clarity the distress and chaos that besets the world engine. It was a most unpleasant experience. I'm still not sure what to make of it.
07B gets out a weird clicking device with many gears and refractive lenses that he holds up before his face, and then holds at various different angles so the different apertures and lenses are regarding Talak at different points. Then he is going to make an int ×5 roll.
Go through my best loot, KG.
Okay. He nods along as the handheld device gives various chirps and lights flicker on and off, and there's a few beeps, and then it exhales a puff of steam, and he puts it back on his belt. He says, "Yes, you have experienced direct communion with flaws in the machine. It occurs. It is unfortunate. Because you incurred this damage upon your appointed task, you may expect assistance in rehabilitation. Out of character, Talak, at the end of the month, you will get options to research things and train things. We'll get into the details of that when we actually get to the end of the season. You will, since your decrease in your Earth rune has been diagnosed by 07B, you can get free assistance in training back the 3 points of Earth rune you lost. You can expect no training prices. Not that would be a major thing with dwarfs, but they might expect like a work of craft in exchange for training. Otherwise, you will be given rehab as part of your duties, basically.
Okay.
Do you have anything else you want to report?
I believe that is all I have to report at this time.
All right. Then, since your task remains cooperating with the Human King and his agents, you have a very curious thing for a Mustali, which is free time on your hands.
Go paint your minis.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take a game roll, which I shall augment with masonry.
Hell yes.
Go for it.
Okay.
What's Talek's army? Does he play?
I want to know. Build the lore. Build it soon. Make it canon.
Let's see what they roll.
Yeah.
No, oh
Okay,
my
Plus
god.
30.
So that's a plus
30 to
30,
game.
plus 30 to game. So I've got 15 plus 5 modifier, sorry.
I'm so hyped for this.
Do they have like an earth army, like a water one,
Don't-
something
don't
out there, like
Yes,
invisible?
choose an
god?
elemental rune that your army is based around.
I'm going to say my army is a water army.
Oh, that rules.
Okay. Cool. So like merfolk and sea monsters.
They nerfed
Well,
the Hydra in the latest
if
patch.
you were to interpret the rules in such a simplistic fashion, it's more sort of the abstract notion of the rune of water itself. But yes, the miniatures are little merfolk and sea monsters.
They can also
they-
be there are fish guild people called
Yeah.
Wertegi, who have ships made from dismembered dragons.
Ah.
So they could be a strong addition to your army. But yes, you finish getting your latest Hydra model shaped and painted and board ready, and take it to a successful but not exceptional victory over one of the other rock dwarfs' fire army. Your Hydra devours his Lodril model, much to his chagrin.
Nice.
Good game.
GG.
Good game.
You got to imagine that, when you're playing this for show, the Mostali like animate their little figurines and have them actually fight.
Yeah.
Part of the game is repairing your broken models afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, you actually have to represent the battle damage.
Yeah. Man, this
Yeah, you're
feels
playing in
the
a
game
league.
experience.
Your units get new traits as they get XP from battles.
God.
One of the Iron Dwarfs is the GM, and he's a real stickler for rules.
We're just gonna.
I mean, we're Mostali, we're all sticklers for rules.
Yeah, but he's especially so. That's why he's in charge of the tournament.
We're just gonna stop playing our characters in the campaign, and we're just gonna start playing our characters playing tabletop games with Dal.
Well, there is
absolutely
a
would.
board game called God's War that is
Gosh.
basically what we're describing.
Amazing.
Yes, I spent my entire tax return on it. No, it was like half my tax return.
Ah, well, then it's perfectly understandable if it was just half your tax return.
Being a fan of things
So,
is bad for money. Sorry, go on.
So, thank you, Talak, for playing Warhammer. Uh,
I also put checkboxes
Surma
next
or
to masonry
Kakti?
and game.
yes, put a check in both of those.
Hell yeah. I guess unless you want to go first, Loco, I can go first if you want.
You should probably go first. I'm still pondering exactly what I'm going to end up doing.
Okay, so first things first, Surma's gonna take Fario and she's gonna go over to pray and do Yamalio prayer stuff because she is a devout Yamalian. But I'm about to do some wild shit. I'm about to make jokes about gay heresy. So, Yamalio's cult, it's great. I love Yamalio's cult. It's got the fire and the truth rune, the fire sky truth runes, so you can augment your Yamalio worship with fire and truth runes. That sounds fun. That sounds really cool. Surma's Covenant of Esteem sect of Yamalia also has the Fire and Truth rune, but they also use the Movement rune. So I'm going to augment my Yamalia worship with the Movement rune.
Okay.
Which is a 75. I'm worshipping specifically in a Cult of Esteem way, not so much in a Yamalia way. Yeah, so that's a normal success. So now all my, I guess, shenanigans will be plus 20 in this regards.
Plus 20 to things that, things movement related.
Oh, so
both literally and metaphorically.
Yep. Yeah, please do give me power over metaphor. You're not going to regret that at all. Let's go with, I don't have...
It's half the point of this game.
I don't actually have Worship Humalio because I was so mad about how much Humalio sucked that I avoided giving it to my character. So I'm going to use Devotion.
You can augment magic with your Moon Rune.
Amazing. I'm going to do Devotion Humalio.
And you can spend magic points to increase worship rolls. Everybody spends 2 MP to make a worship roll, and for every MP past that, you add 5% to your roll. So you spend 3, you get plus 5. 2, you get 4 rather, you get plus 10, etc.
Alright, so basically you're saying since I don't have Worship Humalio because I didn't realize I could make pull a whole heretical gay cult out of my butt and actually enjoy worshiping this terrible god that I don't like, that I can just pull a magic roll instead and then get Worship Humalio. That's
if you succeed it, you'll get your first experience check in Worship Humalio.
Alright,
yes.
so
and
how am I doing this again?
Since the skill is starting at 0, you can't lose.
Alright, so how am I doing this again? Just, I guess basically roll 20 at this point?
What do you mean?
You want me to roll my I don't understand how you're telling me how to do this. I'm sorry. I'm new to the system.
Everything's a D100.
Okay, so
cult worship is a magic roll. So what's your magic modifier?
What's my magic modifier? Where would I see that? Is that charisma, I guess?
No, it's in the list of your magic skills. At the very top, there's a modifier space on the character sheet.
I might not put that in. I see where my spirit magic is, where my rune magic is. I don't see a magic skill.
I know on the skills, second.
Okay, what's your... I have the table right here. What's your POW?
What's my POW? My POW is 12.
And what's your charisma?
16.
All right, your bonus is 0.
Okay, great.
So you don't have a magic modifier.
I don't have a magic modifier.
Your worship starts at the base roll. The base skill for any worship roll is 5.
Okay.
So you start at 5 as your goal.
Okay.
Then you need to. Then you can up your chances by augmenting, by spending MP, and by using ritual practices. Let me find that table.
I'm so sorry for making you do all this work. Because I want to be silly.
No, what's important is that you learn how to do this work in the course of doing this.
Okay.
I'm also going to be doing this right
necessary.
after you, so it's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, you can augment with anything you can think of. Moon is the magic category. If you have a devotion to Yelmalio, that will apply, or just dance or sing.
Well, I already augmented with movement. Do I have to augment again, or...?
No, you can only augment with one thing at any time anyway. So you've got plus 20. Your goal is 25.
Okay.
And I just posted a chart from the book of ritual preparation bonuses.
Okay.
You spend the amount of time listed at left, and you get the percentage bonus listed at right.
Oh, it's not bad. Okay. I don't want to spend too long.
You have
20 years would probably be overkill.
It's afternoon, so you have 1 to 5 hours. Either one of those.
Hold on, Cacti. I would have that, except every time I went to put skills in, I had the choice between worship Yamalio and devotion Yamalio, and I just picked devotion Yamalio every time instead of worship Yamalio every time. So that's why I had no worship Yamalio. Because I didn't realize I could pull a cool cult out of my butt, and I have strong opinions about how horrible Yamalio is. He's not bad. I'm just being a brat about it.
Okay, so you're at 25.
So I'm at 25. And I guess I'm going to spend about an hour doing this. I don't want to spend, the thing is, the difference between, an hour and 5 hours is just too big. I would spend...
Then you're up to 60.
Yeah, I would spend 2 hours if that would give me any extra bonus, but it doesn't, so I guess I'm up to 60. Here we go. I did it.
That's a normal success.
So I get devotion to Yamalio on here, and I'll write it down. Or, I'm sorry, worship Yamalio.
Worship Yamalio. And, hold on.
Cool. Put it in there. He's in there. I'm going to put the check by it, too, because that was a success. Yay! We did it. I don't know. It probably doesn't. It probably starts at, a very small number.
It starts at 5.
Starts at 5. I'll put the 5 in there. Thank you. Oh, I typed in 6 instead. No, it's a 5. There you go. All right. Done.
Reporting you for cheating.
I know, I'm cheating. I gave myself a whole extra 1.
So what does the success in the worship roll do?
Normally it refunds rune points, but she's got full up rune points, so Zeal's gonna come up with something.
Some narrative thing it'll do, make me not worship in an embarrassing way.
You can also use it for divination.
Ooh. I might, cast a spell or something.
It can be used... Well, it's rarely used to get effects as specific as casting a spell, but if you pray to your god and make a successful worship roll, sometimes good things happen.
Yeah, so I'll do that. I'm just going to pray to Yamalio in a cult of esteem or a covenant of esteem way. And I make a successful worship roll, and we'll see if good things happen. They don't always have to happen. Sometimes God doesn't answer you when you pray, and that's fine. Yamalio
well, you succeeded, so he probably is.
Yeah.
What is the covenant of esteem way to worship? You go up on the hill and you whip your spear around doing tricks or something?
It depends. It depends on, the cult, the covenant individual. Surma has, because again, it's all about your individuality and individual expression and agency. So each person, there's no one true way, right? Just each person has their way, and their way is best way.
So what's your way?
So Surma's way is, I got all these points in sing, right? So Surma likes to sing, and that's her way of expressing her interest in the covenant, in her worship in Yamalio, in service to the covenant of esteem. She likes to sing, and she likes to look after people. She likes to guide people. So that's her way of doing it. So she'll sing, and she'll join in other songs.
So, as you're singing, what are you asking Yamalio for?
Oh gosh, I just don't want to fuck this up.
All right. Since you succeeded, for the duration of this specific task that has been given you by the White Bull, you will get plus 10 to any communication rolls based on helping someone love themselves.
Cool. That is definitely...
Make sure you write that down somewhere on the sheet, maybe in magic notes.
Put it in... I'm actually just going to put it here. Oh, I can't put it under communication. So yeah, I guess I will put it in my magic notes. So yeah, right now I'm going to have a temporary... Plus 10, you said. Plus 10 to communication?
To communication rolls for roles pertaining to helping someone love themselves.
Gonna make everybody love themselves now that I got a buff. Get ready for free therapy. Surma's inventing therapy. That's my character goal.
There's no such thing as a self.
We are all us. But as it's late afternoon by the time you're done with your ceremonies, and as the sun is going down, because it is sort of early spring at the start of sea season, Maybe it's just Surma, but for a second there, the light seems to go a little bit brighter before the sunset.
Oh.
But if you ask somebody, nobody else noticed it.
Ah, cool. Thanks, Yamalio. Now, my headcanon is that you don't suck. Okay, so now I've done that.
And anything else?
Yeah, well now I don't want to hog the scene too much, but now that she's done spending an hour or two worshiping Yamalio, singing, talking to people, helping other people sing and do their rituals if they need help, she's gonna head over to Vishy's. Vishy is a scribe. I don't know enough about the lore to know where he'd be. He's not unimportant, but he's not super important either in regards to hierarchy and whatever. He's got a pretty he would be like the effectively like a not almost tenured professor in terms of status in Pavis. Like he's on his way to being tenured.
Vishy is what people in Pavis call a dismounted nomad. A nomad who's given up the nomadic lifestyle but still keeps the cultural trappings, more or less. He lives in the district of New Pavis. I just posted Suntown, where he works as a scribe for the Sun Dome Temple in New Pavis. And that would be S21 on the map.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
He, by the nature of his job, he also is basically a scribe and bureaucrat for the Sun Dome Spears Regiment, which Surma probably did some time in a variation of to become a Yelmalio initiate in the first place. Vishy probably did too, so he can probably swing a spear and hold a shield in addition to holding a pen. And we will assume he lives in, as a scribe, probably decent apartments in Suntown.
He's got enough space for Surma to crash with him, but yeah.
So, Kakti, that leaves you. What do you do with the rest of your day?
Robot?
That's fully robotic.
Oh.
There you go. No. Okay. I'm crossing my fingers. There you go.
Am I still roboting?
You're good now.
You're
okay. I believe most of the day would probably be spent in the walk back to the Grove from New Pavis. Ideally, I would try to offload some of my crafts, the water skins, the people that look like they're thirsty or need water on my way out of the city, or to fellow elves that look like they are about to leave the grove and, require having a way to hydrate on the road. Aside from that, there would be some bucklers or shields made out of cactus skin and kettle thorns that would distribute amongst the warriors. Arrows for the warriors as well, the archers at least. And then I would make my way back to the part of the grove where I was raised and where I have my two remaining relatives, I assume, still living, my aunt and my sister.
Probably the areas abutting Yelmalio Hill in the north of the garden.
I would assume a little closer to the Solafel, but yes, probably. That sounds about right. I just... Wherever a cactus is probably more likely to grow.
Yeah, towards the edge and a little, and not directly on the water. Wouldn't want too much water for cactus.
Yeah. Probably spend some time crafting to resupply. Don't know if I would have to roll for that to determine how much I...
Only if you want to determine exactly how well you do.
I would. probably like to do that. I would also like to know exactly how much of the since being an elf, being an Eldrami, I don't actually need money, or
Nope.
am not accustomed to using it. So I would assume that I would distribute the 150 that I started with as a Delph crafter.
You don't have to do it right now, but I would just say go to the equipment section in the book and turn all your cash into goods of one form or another at a 1-to-1 cost ratio.
Okay, right. So I would assume that I would trade away some of them, or most.
Yeah, you would only keep what you like want and personally use.
All right. But yeah, I would still like to resupply, so I would try to craft some.
Yeah, give us a wood shaping roll.
Let me see where my skills are. 65.
It's like a 5K walk to the garden from New Pavis. It's not that bad.
So it probably doesn't take very long. Normal success.
All right, take it.
Aside from that, around the time that the sun is finally setting, before approaching anything even resembling dormancy, which, as a Volcrant, not really dormant, I would probably spend some time trying to reconnect with both Aldria and Yolmalio.
Sure.
So I would perform a miniature ritual for both, and ideally try to resupply my 1 rune point for my command hawk that I wasted trying to command hawk.
Yeah.
So roll worship Yolmalio.
And you can augment, and you can use ritual practices.
How exactly would ritual practices work for that?
Just that chart I posted a little further up the thread. You take a X amount of time, you get Y percentage bonus to your roll. What the actual ritual practices are depends on, what you're doing.
So I don't actually have to roll for this. It's just one-to-one time exchange.
Yep. It's just a flat bonus to your roll based on how much legwork you put in.
I assume I do 30 minutes then.
All right.
So,
and are you going to augment with anything?
Aside from what I'm already doing with the half minute, I guess I could give it a shot. Where are you? I guess I'll sing. I haven't sung at all. I haven't sung at all, even though it's one of my highest things.
All right, go for it.
So, first to sing.
Nice.
You succeed. Plus 20. Tick sing. You sing a song to the sun about the sun.
It may or may not appreciate it, I hope.
So a total plus 50 to your worship Yolmalio.
So that would be 7.
Nice.
All right. It's an associated cult day. So you regain 1d6 rune points to Yolmalio. You were only missing 1?
I was only missing 1, yes.
All right, then you don't need to roll. That 1 point is refunded.
Hooray.
Nice.
And tick worship Yolmalio.
You're on a roll,
Done.
sis.
Worshipping is how you regenerate your rune points, your most important magical resource. Everybody should try to get a certain level of worship, but as you can see, you can use ritual preparation and augmenting and just flat spending MP to guarantee at least a pretty good chance at regaining your rune points when the calendar is right. So
I do still use up 2 MP, right, for this?
Yes, but you regenerate a quarter of your MP every 6 hours, and we're out of combat, so you don't have to
Oh,
track it
fair
too hard
enough.
for that.
Fair enough.
So,
Are you ever truly out of combat
Does-
if you're fighting with yourself at all times?
you'd be surprised.
Wrestling with your conscience, right?
Spirit combat can be a whole thing when your spirit can detach. But Cacti, do you spend the night in the garden then? It would be a long trek back to New Pavis to have dinner with Surma and
You
and
can
Vichy.
stand us up. It will hurt my feelings, but you can do it.
Oh, if I was expected to eat dinner with my human family, I'd probably make the trek back after I'm done with my ritual.
It's an hour
Okay.
walk.
Sure, that's fine.
So if I know where they live, if I've already been there,
Yeah,
or
you
would
know
I
where-
wait for?
You know where Surma and Vichy live. Your family to Surma, and Vichy accepts everybody that Surma adopts. Right now, you're the only person that Surma has adopted. But yeah, Vichy's cool with it. He's a big dweeb, but he's a sweet, good boy. Genuinely certified good boy, doing his best.
Well, Sarma, I made it, despite your directions.
I hope you're ready for an unforgettable luncheon, sis.
They call them steam berries.
We
So
call
Yeah,
them.
Vichy-
I got a
Vichy
punchline.
primarily-
Hold on. We call them
Okay.
steamed. We call them steamed hands. From the herd piece. They're pans, so we steam them. Even though they have grill marks on them, don't ignore that. They're steamed. Okay, you can go on with what you're saying.
Yeah, since elves are, as far as most humans know, vegetarians, Vichy has lined up some rice and beans and street corn. Good spicy street corn.
Hell yeah.
The Lunars imported maize, and while the Lunars were kicked out, nobody saw fit to get rid of the maize.
Some of the angrier Praxians think it's a chaos crop.
Yeah, but they have to fight the Elmalians to get to the fields, and the Elmalians are great at fighting off Praxians.
Sir,
I mean,
the house is on fire. No, brother, it's just the Northern Lights.
No, brother, Yalmalio doesn't have heat, just light.
The Red Moon, fully localized in your Suntown apartment at this time of the year, in this phase of the celestial movements?
Yeah.
Can I see it?
Oh. I've already popped off about my headcanon about how, yeah, sure, Yamelio's sun warmth was killed, but his entire warmth is not gone. The entirety of his warmth has not been eliminated. Anyway, hi, sis.
But he's not burning Seymour's house down.
It's still not fire if it's the warmth of the heart. So
Yeah,
it's fine.
that's true.
Does anyone have any more role playing they want to do for the first day of the year?
I was gonna bully you into playing Vichy, but I feel like I'm hogging the spotlight now, so.
I think we're good for a day.
Yeah. Quickly, what do each of you do with your free day the next day?
As I said before, I'd like to visit the Temple of the Seven Mothers.
You roboted out a bit just now.
Seven Mothers Temple.
All right. Yes. Then we shall start with that. Let me look up the...
Yeah, look up some stuff. Oh. While you're doing that, I guess I'm just gonna do a bit of self roleplay while you're looking through files.
Just talking to yourself in
Yeah.
different voices.
Yeah, no. I just so Surma doesn't have any visible tattoos or painting or runes or anything visible on her body. Her shield has some painting on it, but it's just the usual fire sky rune. And then there's also a movement rune on it. But that's it. That's the only, like, painting or runes or anything. She doesn't have anything on her skin visibly. But, like, you know, she doesn't sleep in her armor with all of her clothes on. That's weird. And she does have a rune on her body. Some jackass fucking branded a darkness rune on her when she was an infant. It hurts. It burns a lot. It's painful. It was not comfortable when she was around all the trolls. It's not comfortable now. It has remained uncomfortable. She has a hard time sleeping. And she's up now in the morning. And she's fine, I guess. She'll keep at it. But yeah, some jackass branded a darkness rune on her. That was rude. When she was just a fucking baby. Rude.
So, Nano, I believe we settled on the moon is one phase ahead in Prax?
Yes, so it would be a Black Moon Day today, which is
Okay.
Kotov's favorite.
And what time do you head to the Seven Mothers Temple?
You know, sometime after breakfast. Let it digest half an hour, then go.
It is P14 on the map of the public district I just posted.
Yep.
The Seven Mothers Temple shows signs of recent and pretty significant renovation. It was a site of some pretty formidable magical combat when the city fell to the White Bull. And since that time, and it's only been less than a month, the members of the White Moon movement among the White Bull's followers have been hard at work getting the temple back into order. It was reconsecrated in the course of sacred time, so it's only been functioning again for a matter of days. The main renovations have been to repair the statuary and imagery while adding while adding touches of white to palettes that had been dominated exclusively by red and black, adding white outlines and silver gilt to traditional lunar forms and symbols. How do you try to make your initiate status and, you know, basically standing to be here known to the red, black, and white-robed initiates who are on hand to greet the few people who are willing to openly approach the temple these days?
Yeah, so Kotov, he's brought some nicer silks from Targe. He hasn't been wearing them because, you know, the road is dirty, but this time he's going to bust them out, and he's not going to wear his stupid hat. And he's just going to sort of stride in boldly, probably the only person to do so since the reconquest of Favis. Really
the White Bull has extended his protection to White Moon followers, but even so, there's a lot of drunk Praxians wandering the streets at any given time, beating the shit out of anyone who seems to be a remaining lunar sympathizer.
Yeah, he'll probably be taking the back door out afterwards. But he's just going to stride in and find whoever seems to be in charge here, and introduce himself, go through the ancestor list, and be very honest about who he is and what he's doing here.
All right. Do you want to support that with a roll, or just do it narratively?
I can support that with a roll. Augment it with my devotion to She Who Waits.
All right.
Oh no!
Oh,
Oh,
Oh!
it's a Black
Okay.
Moon Day too.
Okay. So, fumbled on a passion. Let's see what happens with that.
Oh no! That wasn't
I
even...
can't recognize her statues, not that they're all white and weird. So I need an angry red blood goddess, not some weird pacifist white one.
Okay.
He who waits.
The adventure is crushed by negative thoughts.
Oh no!
The passion is immediately reduced by 1d10 from its rating, and the adventure is overcome by despair. Despair might last for a few minutes. It'll last a few minutes, or a few days, as determined by the game master based on a roll on the despair table below. For the duration of the despair, the adventurer is effectively incapable of doing anything more than running away or hiding. So, roll 1d10, Nano.
Yeah, I reduced it by 3.
No, this is the number of melee rounds you're gripped by despair.
Okay, well, it's doubling all my rolls for some reason. Sure,
Yeah, it was doing that with the dice bot too. I'm not sure why. Well, with the
That is the dice
slash
bot.
roll bot.
So anywhere between 1 and 2 minutes, he's despairing.
Yes,
He's just standing in the temple, mouth agape, not saying anything, unable to speak.
While the dice bot is doing this, we'll say that the first roll is the one that counts. So,
Which is the shame.
7
How
and
reduced to this place is. What have these barbarians done to the goddess?
yeah. You try to reach out to the presence of the red goddess as you normally would, but there is a philosophical and spiritual undercurrent here that is foreign to you. That is strange. They've added silver gilt to depictions of she who waits, when usually that has just been a matter of carving and texture onto the surfaces of matte black. And your bold entrance and then this sudden violent repulsion, well, it attracts attention. The initiates whisper among themselves, and you're still in the grips of despair when a woman steps forward from them. She wears a headcloth and a long habit of layered red, black, and white silks ornamented with jewels and onyx and silver gilt. There's a chain linking silver ring earring, a silver ring in her ear to a matching silver ring in her nose, and her hair, which flows long down her shoulders and over her chest from beneath a hood, seems to be naturally black and artificially stained red and white. She has the harmony runes, the life runes, and the moon runes tattooed into her face, and in patterns on her throat that continue beneath her robes. It's hard to guess how old she is, and her eyes have a weird patterning to the irises that's hard to make out, especially in the shadows that are deliberately maintained inside the temple on a black moon day.
Yes, well, that was an augment roll for devotion, so...
Well, you're gripped by despair and can't do anything.
Yeah, but 2 minutes later, I can resolve this roll.
Yes, and while you're still in despair, this woman who, from her ornaments, is clearly the high priestess here. She's tall, and she, or is possibly wearing stilts under her robes, and she bows down to look into your eyes and says in perfectly fluent New Pelorian, "I am Ashsina, the goddaughter of Jal-Khalil. Why have you come to this place?"
Still gripped by fumbling and despair. I was just like, what's happened here? What have you done to the goddess?
We have done nothing. We are anticipating what she herself will do in days to come. She and the other initiates help guide you, despite your cringing and repulsion, into the center of the the ceremonial floor, which is itself a huge moon rune worked in silver into the flagstones of the temple beneath your feet, with a matching one in the ceiling, which is also partially a skylight. And once you're through your attack, you can make your worship roll.
Yeah. Okay, just going straight to worship.
Yep, you can still use MP and ritual prep time. They'll give you as much time as you need.
Yeah, I think he's not going to spend very long in here, just half an hour. It's weird, because I thought Photov would take to the White Moon, but I'm liking this curveball. Alright, well I still got a normal success.
Alright. What is the nature of your ritual prep?
Potov is going to kneel down before the statue of she who waits and remove some like scented offering, some like frankincense, and place it before her feet. Sort of inhale and crouch like that.
You just crouch for like 30 minutes, or you stretch this succession of actions out into 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Just like going through his mind, the prayers, and etc. Trying to maybe adapt them and fit them in here, but making some mental edits, yeah.
Yeah, it takes a conscious psychic effort to push through the what you just experienced. But at the end of your ceremony, you feel yourself reconnect with the goddess. You're far from the glow line now, but you are reassured by, well, you connect to them, to her, to she who waits. You feel the darkness of the temple as a welcome rather than an oppression. You can see some of your initial distaste still remains, but you can see the way the adding of silver to the idol of she who waits helps guide the worshipper's eye to the important symbolic functions of the statue, the folds of her robes.
By the way, she's just got like a smooth face. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Like a mannequin.
And at the end of your ceremony, well, people, the other worshippers here in the sanctified space, they recognize the struggle and the success of the struggle. And at the end of it, Ash Sina draws you aside and welcomes you with a namaste and asks you again why you've come here.
Yeah, now that he's on his feet, Photov will do the ancestor list thing and explain the nature of his journey and how he saw the great goddess guide him in the wastes of Frax during sacred time.
We do not have many from Tarsh. Most of us who have sided with the White Moon were travelers from the Heartlands who settled out here and were disgusted by the way the Empire dealt with the locals.
And how did the Empire deal with the locals?
With cruelty and with fear. It was unbecoming of the goddess. It was not what we were taught she wants for us.
Yes, I find I am of similar mind.
from your description, you already have a welcome here. Only the king can offer that to people who openly worship the moon these days.
It surprised me to find that there was still a temple here. From my meeting with him, it did not seem in his character.
The king is open to... The king is open to more approaches to life than most people would guess. He has offered us a place here as long as we continue to resist the Empire, and we will continue to help him as long as he continues to resist the Empire without transgressing our own ethics.
Well, I have been impoverished by my departure from my home, but should I ever come into anything, you can be assured that I will try to restore this temple to its once glory.
Everything you can offer will be gladly accepted. There is much work to do, and much damage has been done to the goddess's place here. We can also offer employment if you have skills. It sounded as though you came from high people in Tarsh.
Potov will pull out a couple philosophical treatises he's written and offer them to her to examine.
All right, she'll roll new Pelorian, I guess.
Yeah, just sure. We'll say last night he wrote something about sort of what you can learn from these crazy beast barbarians, their style of life, rough though it may be.
She only skims the work since you've already been here 30 minutes, but
Yeah.
she nods. She seems suitably reassured that you know what you're doing. And she says, yes, if you desire work as a scribe or a language teacher or a teacher of magical practices, once you've proven your capacity with the practical side, any of those could be open to you here.
Yes, and you said you worship Jackaliel, and he will quickly sketch the in the air, just trace the law rune, asking basically, are you a sorcerer? Can you teach that?
Yes, of course.
Oh, great.
Ashsina is primarily a command sorceress, but she also has some conjuring.
All right. Well, I will return.
All right.
But for now, I need some fresh air and the sun on my flesh.
From the sight of the black moon. All right. So, the rest of you also have a free day. What are you up to? That can be as brief or as detailed as you want.
Zoom, what are you up to? What's Talak doing?
I'm thinking Talak was born in Pavis and spent their early dwarf equivalent of childhood here, but hasn't been in Pavis in many years. So I think they're going to spend the day reacquainting themselves with all the dwarven tunnels under the city and just regaining their bearings of the city and the dwarven underbelly of the city.
Sure. Do you want to roll, I don't know, search? As you're doing your, creeping along, investigating things anew?
Let's see whether I'm not going to augment it, but I'm just going to see whether I find anything cool.
No, but it's not a fumble. You don't find anything, let me put it this way. What you find is what you'd expect to find. That New Pavis is a city that's that's burgeoning, that's always finding ways to surge and shift off its intended foundation. Just like to a greater extent, old Pavis, the rubble beyond New Pavis is. You don't find anything helpful, but you do find evidence of the dwarfs at work, of postings for details, of instructions etched onto the walls of tunnels, preparatory to work above ground. You find the same busted down city, but you also find the signs that the dwarfs are fighting against it being busted down.
That is good to see.
Surma, Cacti?
I assume Cacti would probably end up on the roof, and as soon as sunup comes around, she would probably use what little knowledge he has of the Sable Rider customs to help prepare the start of the day for her human grove, her flesh grove, as it were, and try to, help Vichy and Surma and Ferio start their day.
Aww.
You joke about flesh groves, but then you get to the Hellwood in Duraster.
I'm trying to figure out why.
Let's not go to Duraster.
It is a chaotic place.
Yeah, I want to figure out why I got this fucking cough that's interrupting the entire session. I'm so sorry. I don't know where it came from.
If you hear me cough, it's just because I'm vaping.
Nice.
I heard a cat. I thought that's what someone was going to mention.
She's here too. She meows sometimes. She got opinions. So Surma, she gets up. Her chest still hurts. Gets dressed, heads down, eats breakfast with Vichy. It's happy actually to see Cacti's here. Just figured she'd go home, do growth elf stuff, and they'd meet up again. When they were supposed to meet up. So. Gives her a hug. Doesn't even care that her spine's taken to her, especially since she got armor. Fuck you. And yeah, I guess Surma will start her day by, teasing Vichy for being a nerd for like 15 minutes, and then head out and start looking for people who appear to be in, just try and feel out, see if there's any people who might need unsolicited advice.
Might need unsolicited advice? All right.
Anybody leaking openly?
Insight human roll. And take your bonus from your Yomalio
human
prayer
roll
to it.
for my bonus from Yomalio from it. So let me find my insight human. I forgot what it was. I forgot where it is.
It's under perception.
There it is. Insight own species. So it's 20%. And you said I get an extra 20 because of my buff.
Extra 10.
Extra 10. Okay. So I'm at 30. I should try and augment this.
And you can augment. Yeah.
I'm going to augment this with truth because I'm going to.
What's your perception modifier?
0. I'm going to augment this with my truth rune because I'm going to try and help them find their own truth by giving them unsolicited advice that is maybe good, maybe bad. We don't know. My truth rune is 70. All right, let's do this. So first I'm going to try and augment it with truth. I did it!
Plus 20.
So now I'm at plus 20 on that. So 20 plus 10 is 30, plus another 20 is 50, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so roll 50. Now time to fail this roll. I didn't.
You did not. You did not. All right. Let's see.
I got put a mark by my truth rune too. Holy shit. This does not, y'all, this don't happen to me. I don't do good at dice roll. Okay.
All right.
Yomalio's with you, though.
I've got a great idea. Okay, hold on. Let me look up something.
My gay heresy's got my back. Let's go.
All right. Cocti, are you accompanying your sister, or are you going to go do something else during this?
I believe I will accompany. My grove needs were met.
Okay.
Surma keeps forgetting to try and get you and Vishy to hook up because she's got really bad ADHD and her chest is always hurting because she's spending all this time around darkness creatures. So remind me next time when we're hanging out with Vishy and role playing to be in character, Surma, and try and hook you up with her brother. But
That would
let's go on with
probably be
that.
an intrigue roll.
I'm not doing it now. I forgot because I have ADHD and now
Just
Surma
saying,
does.
that's probably what it would be.
Missed
So,
opportunities.
you're searching for someone who seems like they might need advice.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you start wandering Suntown and you end up just by taking random turns in the streets heading towards public.
Mm-hmm.
And in an open, the Latin word would be taverna, basically just a fried food and cheap wine place with some patio seating.
Craft brewery. Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, basically a craft brewery.
Beer garden.
Yeah, near the edge of Suntown, there is a huge, and it's morning, so it's a little early to be in your cups. But there is a huge man with a prominent side lock. Any Praxian knows that a big guy with a side lock is almost certainly a high llama rider. And he has the tattoos and the long bangly jewelry and the poleaxe leaning against the bench beside him to go with being a high llama rider.
Mm-hmm.
And he is sitting at the bench, facing the street, with his elbows on his knees and his face in his hand.
Oh no.
And sometimes he's thumping his brow with the palm of one hand. He looks very upset.
Mm-hmm.
He's huge and quite scary, so most people are just giving him a wide berth, as they tend to give Praxian animal riders who are hanging around the civilized drinking establishments.
Mm-hmm.
Did he lose his ride?
Yeah, this is llama.
I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
Well, can I see
Or
a llama?
roll insight.
I already rolled insight. I made it. You want me to roll again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you could to get more from him without talking to him.
All right, well, I'm just looking around.
If you'd gotten a special success, you would have seen him and figured out what his deal was in the same roll. You see how it works?
Yeah. No. I mean, well, is it still insight to see if I'm seeing his llama, or is it something else?
There's no llama in sight.
All right, I guess I do want to talk to him, but I'm going to try and feel him out a little bit first with the same boosted roll. Okay, yeah, just kind of look at him and just kind of feel him out, because I guess this is a supernatural world where I have empathy, like capital E empathy, right? Like supernatural empathy.
All right, you can tell he's not grieving, not exactly. Just from watching him, you don't have enough context to get the details, but the sense is he's just had his expectations violently overthrown. Something he took to be one way turned out to be exactly the other way, and it's smacked him in the face.
Relatable. It do be like that sometimes. All right, so I'm gonna look
Done
over.
it though.
Yeah. So I'm gonna look over at Cacti and be like, I gotta do my god thing. You don't gotta wing me or anything. I don't. Cacti, are you in the same covenant of esteem as Surma, or do you just worship Yamalio and were you just pals? You never did answer.
Could be either way. Elves have their own way of worshiping Yamalio that is mostly like the human way, but different enough that it is.
It's probably kind of standard Yamalio, but only in the same sense that it's hard for a grove, or for people who identify more with a grove, to think of the self when they are kind of stuck thinking about everyone in their grove.
Yeah, elves are kind of a group mind. Like, individual elves have individuality, but they're all Aldrea to them isn't so much a goddess as the representation of that whole group mind. So I
don't want people to get the wrong idea about the Covenant of Esteem, because like we do care about individuality. We do care about other people too. We care about other people and their individuality, right? Like so yeah. But I get what you're saying.
The thing about Eldrami is that apparently there's this kind of fear of becoming uprooted, because uprooted Eldrami do not handle that well.
Oh no!
Like it's essentially like an uprooted Eldrami is a reckless one, and basically that's like they have a death wish.
Oh,
yeah.
That sounds good.
Like the idea of becoming separated from Boom is kind of a scary one to Eldrami that are aware of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'd be a terrible character arc to take my sister on, so please do not do that. Anyway, I mean, unless you want to, it's your character. So Simran will head up to this guy and kind of stand close, like, with near him, but not like get all up in his super personal space, but just like in enough of his bubble that he can kind of feel her presence by him. We all have that personal space bubble, right? So she's like encroaching on the bubble, but she's not getting all up in his business, right?
Okay, yeah. It takes him a minute, but he eventually looks up from his hands and squints at you.
Yeah. I mean, even
have you come to mock me, Antelope Rider?
No. Yeah, she's so obviously an Antelope Rider, even though she doesn't have runes painted all over her or anything. No, friend. Fellow plantsman, fellow rider. I have not come to mock you. I have come to hear you out and relate with you and see if we can get through whatever you're in right now together. You know what I hate? She grins at him. Horses. What's your least favorite thing about horses?
All right, I think that's a charm roll.
Yeah.
Your augment still applies, as does your bonus from Yelmalio, so plus 30 to charm.
Let me go to where my charm is. I should really have put her charm as her. I didn't realize I was playing a charm character at first, but I think I might swap her charm and intimidate if that's okay, Zeal. Because
you can start training charm.
Yeah,
it's fine.
So it is. My charm right now is 28, and I get a plus 10, so that's 38, and then I get another plus 20, that's 58. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this. Damn it! I tried. I do hate horses.
It's fine.
Though.
It happens.
They're bad.
It might not be your fault. He might just not be trusted.
He might just be in such a bad.
You're
mood.
from different tribes. There's a lot of bad blood between the different animal riding tribes.
It could be a lot of things. I wanted to say he might just be in such a bad mood that he's in such a bad mood that he doesn't even want to hate on horses, which is like our favorite thing to do. I hate how dumb they are. How they can see an ant and fucking break their necks running away from it. They're so fucking stupid. That's what I hate about horses.
He badly misinterprets the joke. He thinks you have more context than you do, and so he thinks you're making fun of a specific element of what has him upset, and so he stands up from from his seat, and he is very visibly his mere upset seems to be turning towards anger now.
Oh no!
He thumps his great fist on his chest and says, "I am Varish Porkalan, and I will not be denigrated by any Antelope Rider. What is your business? Why have you come to mock me?"
I told you I haven't come to mock you, friend. We had a bit of a miscommunication there. I don't even know what your deal is. I'm trying to find out what your deal is. I'm Surma.
All right. Cockty, can you think of anything you might do to try to mollify things at this point?
Wrestle him. It'll calm him down.
God, if I really gotta be the one character that has all the on-hands experience here, no. Jeez. Think.
I'm not even joking. Like, win or lose, a fight would probably put him in better spirit.
It would calm him down, but I mean, where is my manipulate? It's always underneath the thing that I'm looking at. Get out of here, Discord. I need to look at my sheet. let's see. Spirit Trials.
Surma could even duel him, spear to whatever to poleaxe to halberd.
Well, depending on what Cacti does when it's my turn again, I'm going to escalate because that's always fun. Always be escalating. that's the general praxis.
Healing is very common in this world. You can just get in a fight.
I
Oh,
guess
sorry.
I
The proper term for his weapon is a dagger axe.
That sounds badass. I can't wait to get mauled by it.
I guess I
Please
could
try not to die.
To
This
die,
is not. This is not.
to die would be a great adventure, Talak. Cacti, what you doing?
I'm still thinking about this, but I guess I'm gonna try. I guess I'll try Charm on my end as well. Why not? Let's see. Do I still have any of my augments? No, they were just for that day,
That
right?
was yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Communications rune is fire, right?
Yeah, depends on what you're doing, but it can be, yeah.
I want to try charm myself, but the idea is that I'm going to approach in a disarming manner, but I'm not sure exactly how that would look because I'm not sure how tall this individual is in comparison.
He's
to
taller than you and Surma, which means he's quite tall indeed.
I'm still gonna try.
Yeah, sure.
I guess the closest thing to disarming would be like putting the palms up and going with the whole motion. So, can I roll to augment first, or would that not be?
Roll fire.
All right.
Well, if it's charm, that's an earth or a harmony.
Oh, we're so good. I knew this was going to happen. High five.
All right.
Oh.
That's not a fumble, so you don't lose any rating or any of that. But
Yeah,
you don't get any
I
bonus
don't
from it.
augment. So let's just try that. So charm is actually earth, not communication.
You're roboting again?
Yes, but charm is earth because it's communication, and earth is the communication.
So what is your earth? That would be a better rune for it.
My earth is also 80. So,
Okay, so yeah.
same roll.
Oh, nice.
So
wow! Cacti!
All right, pick charm then.
I mean, all right.
Well, okay, all right, a fumble and a crit in the same session. Now we're playing RuneQuest. Okay.
That's swingy. Clutch.
You approach in a disarming fashion, and it is completely successful. Because you're an elf, he doesn't have any significant tribal enmities towards you. You find a chink in his in the psychological walls he's put up to deal with being a man in the world, and through that you are able to talk him down from what was verging on a violent situation towards him just sitting back down on the bench and explaining his travails, what has stressed him out so much that he was almost that he was so easily set off by what Surma said.
Can't believe all I had to do was be an Oasis self hanging out with a nomad.
So now that he's more calmed down, he explains again that his name is Varish Por Kalan. And any of you, either of you can roll Homeland Lore Prax to know more about just what that name tells you.
I mean, why not?
Great. You know that, Por Kalan is a family name within a High Lama clan that is associated with the Horngate Oasis town in its seasonal round, and you recall that is where Dulce Jail's family fled when the Lunars conquered New Pavis.
Oh.
And as Varish explains, and part of that success is that you'll get some context as he explains things. Varish is upset over Dalsa because he met her back when she was when they were both a few years younger, and her family was living in Horngate. He met her specifically after she had abandoned a life of ease as a noblewoman with her wealthy clan to take up the white robe and help the Chalana Arroy initiates with the disease outbreak, which meant pitting her spirit against the spirit combat of disease spirits. Varish was the bodyguard of a poor Kalan shaman who was also engaged in fighting the disease spirits. And they met in the quarantine tents and began a romance that remained very chaste because Varish's clan has very strict rules about marrying outside of the Beast Riders. Dalsa is a city person and a Chalana Arroy initiate. There were cultural taboos against Varish and her being much more than friends. But Varish has Varish has not seen her since she came with her clan to participate in the liberation of Pavis some months ago. Varish has successfully received permission from his clan elders to marry outside the Beast Riders, and just yesterday came to Pavis to propose to Dalsa, probably just hours after you met her.
Mhm.
And he found out that she has already found a new lover, Hendarl Manykin, an Orlanthe. That's why he thought the horse thing was a cut at him, because Orlanthe ride horses.
Yee.
And he's brokenhearted that Dulce has already found someone else, and he doesn't know what to do. His honor demands that he challenge this Hendarl to a duel, but he knows that Dulce is such a pacifist, she would never take him back if he killed the man. And so he's torn between his love for the woman and his honor as a High Llama rider.
What if, if he's done explaining and it doesn't look like Surma is going to interject, Kaki is going to immediately go, but what if you challenge him to something that is non-lethal?
Yeah, Surma wants to hear him all out, but Cacti's along Surma's current line of thinking, which is twofold. One is, do you have to kill everybody you fight? Is that just a Llama Rider thing? And two is, if not, do it this way. And she's also thinking about some other things, but we'll get to that. But yeah, this is a good line of thinking. She's okay with nodding along. Yeah, go. Yeah, Cactus. That's a good way to go down this for right now.
Yeah, Varish is nodding too. Yes, I could challenge him to some other sort of contest, something that would show Dulce that I would make a better husband.
Maybe they could play Mostali Warhammer.
Games roll.
Race him.
I guess since Kakti's the one making the suggestion, she would probably go along the lines of what she would assume would make good contests, which would be archery, crafting, farming. I think that's where she would stop, because she would be like, I don't know what else Eldrabi could compete in.
Songs.
Yeah, songs would be a big one. Finesse with green scents.
I assume that would be a little harder for humans to be.
Well, yeah, humans don't do the green sense so much. But yeah, Varish is following your line of thinking. I should challenge him to something that would be fair, but that I can best him in.
Like, Surma's got like a weird expression on her face as she's listening to this, but she hasn't. Okay, so I guess at this point I do need to speak up. Okay, so friend, this is definitely a difficult predicament that you're in. And you could definitely go down this route and challenge this guy to something that maybe you could beat him in, maybe he'll beat you in, but at least it'll give you an idea, right? And like try and prove to Dulce that you still care about her and that maybe she should get back together with you. This is totally a road that you could go down. If it's a road you want to go down, then I'll support it. I'm concerned about Dulce's wants, and I'm concerned about you not hearing all your options and then choosing from that array. So, are you concerned with either of those things?
Okay. What sort of role do you want to back that with, Sermon?
I guess at this point, this is more of a it's still. I'm not trying to charm him. This isn't a charm. This is like a. It's like a dialogue. It's like a almost like a search. Can I do like a can this be a literal like a search roll? God, probably not. I'm trying.
No, search is more physical. It could be an insight roll that
insight.
your truth augment would apply to.
I guess we'll go with an insight roll. Yeah, I'm just trying to.
If you don't know, it could also just be charisma times a certain modifier defined by zeal.
That's a good point. You're not really trying to charm him, and you're not so much reading him as sort of guiding him to realizing or expressing something.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him to realize that like he can't control her, and if she's moved on and she doesn't want him, then starting shit with her current crush is just going to tear them further apart. And if
what's your int?
My intelligence is probably very low. It's 11. It's not bad.
And your Ka?
My charisma is 16. I'm very charismatic.
Right. Well, yeah, you're trying to provoke something from him. So, charisma times 5.
All right, hold on. So I gotta pull up a calculator because you're making me do math.
16 times 5 is 80.
And add your truth augment, so roll at 100. You'll only fail if you get a 96 to.
Watch me do it.
It's always possible.
I did it today.
Yeah, it's happened. But it did not happen this time. Okay. The main thing your prodding gets out of Varish is that, well, obviously he did not handle the meeting with Dulce well, so he doesn't know the full story of how she got with Hendarl or the depth or other characteristics of their relationship. All he knows is that they're living together, which is not, that happens between unmarried people. Especially in the city, and especially with Orlanthe.
Well,
as for...
Sorry, go ahead. Up. Sorry, no, you first.
No, you. Yeah,
you sure?
Go ahead.
All right, so...
He's listening to you.
My read on her is she's really busy, right? Like, her day is just so full. She probably sleeps like 4 hours a day. She's like grinding herself. Support, she needs it. She's definitely somebody one could easily fall in love with, get deeply attached to. So there's nothing wrong with your feelings. Only if you care about her, right, and you obviously do, then you should also care about what she wants just as much as you care about what you want. So I think we should just try and find a time when she's not grinding herself to the ground and talk to her before we start throwing spears or punches or whatever it is we're going to be doing. That's just my thoughts. But if you don't want to do that, if you just want to break things. I'll help you with that. Too. But this is just my thought. I'm all about breaking things. If somebody wants to break stuff.
Yeah, but what is Varisha's cult? Varish is about breaking things too. He's a Stormbull guy.
Yeah.
But Stormbull has a very particular relationship with Chalana Roy. And that has sort of entered his thinking. You've calmed him down is what the main thing the crit established.
Mm-hmm.
And so he is thinking instead of just rushing towards the problem, which is his usual approach to things. And he's he's literally puffing breath as he's sorting through these things. He's not usually a sorting guy, but
She's gonna rub his back a little bit, like, you can do this. You got this, bud. You can do this, right? Just gentle rubbing his back, right?
I think I cannot be hasty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm off to a bad start already.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't. If I push too hard, she will just turn away.
That's right.
That is difficult, but I think it's true.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something to what you say. The Chalana Arroy priestesses, the only time they aren't working is the holy days. Those are the only times they allow other people to take care of them instead of the reverse.
When's their next holy day?
He doesn't know off the top of his head, but there is one a few weeks from now. He's pretty sure, and he's right.
Can this wait a few weeks? I don't know how urgent this is.
He shrugs. I can graze my llama out in the rubble. I can hunt things. There's antelopes. Not, your antelopes, but antelope.
I mean, not Mom. Yeah, I mean, of course, not my.
He's not in a rush. You don't need to roll to know that one of the things that's tearing him up is embarrassment at going home and having to admit that she just chose someone else.
Yeah.
So he's not in any rush to go home without resolving this one way or the other.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. She might not, but that doesn't mean you... Like, the thing is, here's my hot take, buddy. I know you're in love with her, and that's good. Your feelings are good. Right? But you still have permission to marry somebody not of your clan. So, whether it's her or whether you hook up with somebody else here and fall in love with them, because there's infinite people to love, my dude. You could fall in love with, I just point at random, that person right there. Not a command. Don't have to. Just saying, that person, point. Don't care who they are. They're getting pointed at. You could fall in love with them right now, this very moment, if you wanted to. Not that you should, not that you must. This is not an order. I'm just saying, you have infinite love in your heart. There's infinite people in the world that you can love. Maybe you'll work out with her, but if it doesn't, you still have permission to marry whoever you want, and that's a good thing.
But I love Dulce.
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
And if she won't have me, then I can go on a ride out into the wastes and find chaos monsters to fight, and that will make me feel better.
That's so dramatic.
but it is the warrior way to cheer up.
It is, you
Generally,
guys don't
it's
have
what
any
he would do
Stormbull.
if he was married to her. Also, it's
Yes,
just what he does in general.
It's what Stormbull people are for, to go out into the wastes and fight chaos monsters.
I mean, if you want to burn out your anger on some chaos beasties, that's fine. But I'm willing to bet that even if she isn't, in love with you, she still cares about you. You still had that connection with her. So don't go feeding yourself to chaos beasties, alright, and hurt her. If she doesn't want you. She might not want you as her lover, but she definitely doesn't want you dead, my dude.
No, she doesn't want anyone dead. It's one of the strange and wonderful things about her. She's the only person I've ever met who doesn't want anyone dead.
You shouldn't want you dead either, Pat Pat.
So, you have made a friend of Varish Porkalan, Stormbull High Llama Rider.
Yeah.
Which, maybe note that down somewhere. Having a High Llama Rider as a friend can be useful.
Oh, okay.
Both Kakti and Surma.
Yeah, we got a friend.
A very tall friend.
Yeah, he big.
With a very tall llama.
Big, strong friend. Let's, I got some stuff to do. Talk to her on the holy day. If you want me to back you up and wingman you, let me know. Well, wing person, you, let me know. I'm hanging out at these apartments with my brother, so just swing by first, and I'll come with you, okay? If I'm not busy.
Yeah, if there are further developments in the Dulce Jail love triangle subplot, Surma and Kakti will both be roped in if they're available.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just, hold my arms out, come get in here, buddy. Give him a big hug if he'll take it. Pat him on the back and probably get crushed to death by this enormous...
Yeah, it's slightly awkward, and there's a great thump when he finally extends his arm.
I'll take
But yeah,
that.
he hugs you back.
I'll pat him and be like, we'll get through this together. It'll be fine. Maybe. I hope. We'll make it fine. We'll will it into existence. I'm gonna go get lunch. We've been here for a while. You know where to find me. I'm wishing you luck. Pray to Yamelio about it. She'll walk off. Feels good. I haven't done it. She'll actually give you a little punch on the shoulder, Cacti, and be like, hey, you had my back there. Thanks. I about choked on that. I was about to punch him a bunch. It would have been really embarrassing for him to have gotten something else to be mocked about because he got beat up by a Sable Rider who was 4 feet shorter than him.
Kakti will bow to Harish as they leave. Harish.
Yeah.
High llamas aren't 10 feet tall. You're 6 foot.
Yeah, he's a big guy, but he's probably not fully 7 feet.
Okay.
He's just very, very broad.
All right. He's probably half, four-ish inches taller than her. So probably.
Yeah, 4 to 6, something like that. Now, 3 of you have had business that has taken you around the public district on Water Day. So, Nano, Surma, Kakti, each of you roll scan. Those of you with day-long augments, those truth applies, certainly.
Scan visualizing, right?
Yeah.
Normal success on a 35. Didn't expect that.
Nice. Take that. Oh, and a special.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Surma, let's see if you can...
You're just dominating this game right now with these dice rolls. Why are we even here?
Each of you tick scan.
Let's just let Loco take care of everything.
Just a very aware cactus all around. Are you rolling?
Yeah, I guess I'll roll too. We're rolling. What did you say?
Scan.
Scan. All right. I don't think I boosted that with something, but I can look at my.
Yeah, movement wouldn't apply. I don't think.
25.
Well, that was yesterday anyway.
35. Yeah, I guess I'll just roll my 35. I don't really want to I don't want to waste the time boosting it.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, that's not for me. I wouldn't.
Wasn't a fumble, so you don't get
it wouldn't
bad
have mattered
info.
even if I had boosted it.
Yeah, you're oblivious.
Yep, as always.
What Kakti and Patov are both aware of is that from street corners, from alleys, your movements around the public district are being watched. Not obtrusively and from a distance, but each of you is aware of people dressed like they're from river trades watching you. Just ones and twos. And Cockty specifically is able to spot a dolphin tattoo on one of their forearms. They don't approach you, and if you approach them, we'll see what they do. But you are both aware that you are being shadowed by people probably from Riverside, and at least one of them is definitely from the Dolphin Gang.
Oh no.
Do I still remember Surma letting us know about that?
Yes, it was just yesterday.
I guess I'll. Darn it! I hate when I have to do intrigue because I failed the last time. Should I before I move on? Should I check scan visual?
Yeah, you succeeded.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, I guess I'll try intrigue, even though I'm not confident in it. I'm gonna try to nonchalantly, taking advantage of the one playful fist bump. I'm gonna pretend to kind of return the thing, but mostly just try to tap Surma's shoulder to try to draw attention to the fact that I may be seeing dolphins in the corner of my eye.
Go for it.
Let's see. Could I try to augment this before I move on, or would I count my one augment? Okay, my one augment roll.
It didn't succeed, so you can keep trying, but you can't try Earth again.
Okay.
And Earth would be the one for this, or would be one for this.
Could I try Love Dark Scorned?
Yeah.
Kind of. All right. So that would be 60.
Plus 20.
Okay. Hooray.
And plus 20 to things relating to your love for your sister for the scene.
Hooray. Let us see. Then intrigue is 35. Nope.
No.
I am still not very good at
intrigue. You do
intrigue.
communicate the information that you're being watched to make up. So Surma is aware, despite failing her scan, but you fail to do it unobtrusively enough that the people watching you don't catch on that they've been made. And once they are aware they've been made, they start moving away through the crowds, breaking off contact with you.
Wow. I assume there's no hawks nearby, and I'm not sure I should bother doing that again.
It's mid-morning now. There are no hawks.
Aw.
Oh.
They're probably. I mean, we're in a commercial area. There's probably too many people for hawks to be, looking for food for prey.
And there'll be more around up in the sky once the heat sets in, and there's some thermals for them to ride. But yeah, no hawks right now.
So we're being kept an eye on. At least that much is communicated to my sister. So that's good.
Only in public district and non-confrontationally, but yes.
That's fair, but still, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, it's not illegal to stare at people in the public district, but they're doing.
But I did manage to see the dolphin tattoo, so that seems relevant.
What do you do with this information?
I think Jenner might be a little busy, but
I'm not busy. I'm here, but I'm getting insecure because I did a long roleplay scene, so it involves somebody else. But
okay.
Surma's here,
This is the
spotlight.
this is the finale of that scene.
Okay.
Do whatever you're gonna do.
Okay. All right. So you can. She's here. She's here with you. She's still chumming up with you. She didn't. She's so proud that you helped her out and that we're such a good team. She did not notice that person at all because she was so enthused by our good job at fixing somebody else's problems while we ignore our own, which is a healthy, good, constructive thing to do, and definitely not a form of self-harm and bad mental health. As she's like, so yeah, you can talk to her about what you just saw. She didn't notice it at all.
I did essentially do that overtly because apparently I'm terrible at sleight of hand. Or essentially,
it's probably best that you do. Sorry, go ahead.
We're getting watched by at least a dolphin tattoo. They left because I guess they had other things to do.
Great. And they're probably Surma like scowls, like her good mood, her good vibes quashed. But then she just shakes her head and says, "No, it's fine. We're probably being surveilled by them. You know, they're probably watching us all the time now, and we're only seeing them see us half the time that they're seeing us at best." She says, "Great. We'll let everybody else know when we get together tomorrow that we're being surveilled. Good spot, sis. You're really on a roll today. Fuck the dolphins." She said.
That's gonna be weird out of context for everybody nearby.
I'm just gonna clip that out and put it at the front of this episode when I upload it. So it's just me saying "fuck the dolphins," and then we'll just go into the session, and nobody will have any context for like an hour.
Our Florida listeners are going to be so mad at you.
All three of them. We should probably close this out here soon, but I want everybody else to get a scene because I just took over.
No, that's what we're heading for.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have something they want to do with their water day?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Potov noticed.
Before that, sorry. Potov, you also noticed that you were being surveilled. You got that they're probably from water trades, but you didn't see a specific tattoo. What do you do with that information?
Yeah, well, I forgot I didn't see the tattoo, so I'm going to cross one of those things off my list now. But just while he's going about his day, Potov wants to suddenly refresh his dedication to the goddess. And so at the spur of a moment, he's going to go get his first tattoo.
Nice.
Ooh. All right.
Potov took a bunch of drugs, and now he's getting a tattoo. Potov living his best life.
He's being very rebellious right now, because he's just getting into it.
His rebellious.
What's Potov's bargain?
Bargain with glamour, it's 25.
All right. Give me an int ×3 roll to see how well you choose your tattooist.
Can I enhance that?
Yeah. How would you? Augmenting it would shift what kind of tattooist you get.
Yeah. Looking up my skills here.
Augment it with something ridiculous and then like argue why it's like narratively important. That's what I do. That's my praxis.
I don't think anybody here speaks New Valorian, so I'm not going to be asking with that.
Maybe you get the one New Valorian tattoo artist in town. Well, the one that speaks it.
Ashsina spoke New Pelorian and had plenty of tattoos.
Alright, yeah, I could go back in and ask her if I augment with New Valorian.
Sure. Done. Take that augment.
Yeah, okay, 25 plus 20. My fingers are crossed. I do not want a shitty tattoo. No!
85. All right. But it's not a fumble, so you don't get a shitty tattoo.
Okay.
You don't get a tattoo that's magical in itself either, though you could make it the focus for subsequent spirit magic you learn.
It's the cool ass. You got the cool ass. That's fine.
But you did succeed on the augment, And the main thing that secures is you get hooked up with a tattooist in Old Town, in one of the properties that used to be Lunar owned and has been taken over by White Bull people. That was it's just a few blocks away from the Blind Lamp Inn, and it's run by a Seven Mothers initiated Jal Khalil artist. Her name is Sor Mina. And she's the daughter of people who moved of Heartland settlers who moved to New Pavis, but she's lived most of her life around Bulford, and she is sort of a synthetic artist. She's combining traditional lunar motifs with traditional Orlanthi tattooing styles, and she's been raised among Orlanthi, basically, as a mission. Her family were Lunar Way missionaries.
Sormina, any relation to Soryu?
I mean, only to the extent that however many thousands of other women with Sor at the start of their name are, but yeah, of course.
I was just asking.
Yeah, no, it's she's friendly, and she knows her business, but what kind of work are you getting? What's the scale of it?
Just Black Moon on the back of the hand.
All right, probably just one lunar for that, and an hour of work.
All right.
And let me roll read write new Pelorian for her.
All right, I will mark down that I take an HP of damage on my arm.
Yes. Please wake the staff bot.
Man.
Awake.
Your poor arm. A whole HP of damage.
All right. It's not magical. It's not a particularly fancy one, but it is a nice, solid black moon on the back of your hand.
Nice. You did it.
And she gets to take her read write. That's a good day for her. And you know where to go if you want more elaborate work done.
Yep.
And you can tell that she's only really gotten started. She hasn't built up a lot of, she hasn't had time to invest POW in things and really turn her workshop into a workshop. But
Sure.
You can tell there's potential here that may unfold over the seasons. So, anything else you guys can think of before we close? Stuff you want to do on Water Day?
I think Talik's the only other person who hasn't done anything yet, so what you got?
Yeah.
Anything?
Anything you want to do, Talak?
I got
You're
myself
creeping around
reacquainted with the various tunnels, and I think with all the tunnels under Pavis, that's probably going to take up the entire day.
Do you want to add a climb to it to take your searching above the ground?
I do have a pretty good climb. Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
All right, normal
Nice.
Success.
You did it.
And yeah, you climb like a Olympic grade, whatever, a circus performer maybe. It's crazy. He's a great climber. And creeping around in the bones of the city was sort of depressing because you had a better sense of how the city has shifted on its foundations, even in small ways. And you had a better sense of the scope of all the work the dwarfs will have to do to make it a perfect city one day. But when you take it above ground, let me find the picture that illustrates this best.
I was imagining that it was going to be a cartoony scene where Talek pops his head out of the ground and trips up like the river folk as they leave. No.
That ziggurat on at the south wall of New Pavis, built into the much more ancient dwarf raised walls of the old city, has come up already this session.
Ah, yes.
That is,
yeah.
That's the temple to Pavis, the founder of the old city, Flintnail's great patron, and a shrine to Flintnail as well. And your climb involves entering the service tunnels that honeycomb the foundations and interior walls of the Pavis temple, and climbing up the interior of the ziggurat to get out on top, actually onto the top of the wall. And so you're in a position to look down on the spread of this weird city, New Pavis, and see the human work overlaid on the dwarf foundations, and look over your shoulder to the grazing fields and the farming fields and the ruins of the old city out in the rubble.
Oh.
And as depressing as some of your experiences have been, you can sort of see for a second there how it could all fit together with some work, with some shifting around. But the human additions, they're not all bad. They're not all taking away. Some of them are contributing.
Yes, the humans might yet turn out to be a useful tool in our tool belt. At least some of the humans. Not like those lunars who worship chaos. But some of the humans might have their use, might have a place in this city.
Yeah.
All right. That feels like a good stopping point.
Great.
Everybody do your experience rolls while the Stavbot still wakes. And
yeah, well, I'll go to
and
bed. We'll
don't
head
forget to add D6 to any 2 passions that are rated less than 80 right now.
Awesome. And do that twice or only do that once?
2 passions once.
Okay, got it. Cool. All right, I'm going to stop recording. I had fun.